Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we take that massy stack of sources you need to get through and we really dig in.
Yeah, we carve out the essential stuff, the insights, the stories, the details that actually matter.
Consider this your fast track masterclass. We do the heavy lifting so you get the core understanding.
And today, wow, we're plunging into a story. It's got dizzying wealth, huge emotional consequences, just really dramatic.
Yeah. What are we looking at?
We're analyzing this incredibly intense personal history.
Yeah.
Well, it's basically a saga centered on a classic hidden identity trope,
Okay.
But it leads to this completely unexpected fatherhood for a Spanish mega billionaire.
Right. One of those life-interrupted moments.
Exactly. It's a powerful look at what happens when a life that's been meticulously built on logic gets completely blindsided by a 5-year-old emotional reality. It's quite something.
Okay. So who are the key players here? Our sources focus on.
All right, so we've got Gabriel Cruz, Spanish tycoon, a guy who thought he'd basically outsmarted romantic drama by picking the safe option for marriage.
Logical choice.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then there's Alex McGuire. She was a former, let's say, summer fling.
Okay.
And she suddenly reappears in his super high-tech office, bringing with her his son, his completely unsuspecting heir.
Wow. Okay, so that's the explosion point.
That's the detonator. And our mission, really, for this deep dive is to track how their relationship just morphs.
From what to what?
Well, it starts with that deceptive fling years ago, then this explosive confrontation in the present.
Right.
Then it moves into this, ruthless negotiation over co-parenting. Really intense.
Sounds like it.
And finally, believe it or not, it leads to marriage, which starts as, a purely legal thing, a formality.
Might become something else.
Exactly. It somehow turns into this genuine, complex love story. It's quite the journey.
That sounds incredibly messy and fascinating.
Oh, it is. What's really striking is just how fast Gabriel's perfectly arranged world completely falls apart the second Alex walks back in.
Yeah, that one unexpected variable.
Totally. And it's not just finding out he has a kid, it's deeper. It's his past cynicism crashing headfirst into this undeniable present truth he can't control.
Okay, let's get into the details. Where do we start? How is his world set up before she arrives? All right, let's paint that picture then. Gabriel Cruz, what's his world like before the bomb drops?
Okay, so imagine this guy. Mid-30s, Spanish mega billionaire. Incredibly successful.
Doing what?
He heads this massive, super modern glass building empire. Cutting-edge stuff. Everything about him just screams control, power, organization. Immense power.
Got it. The master of his universe.
Pretty much. But as you say, that control, it has a price. He's operating with this really heavy sense of, family duty.
Parental pressure.
Big time. His parents, the sources describe them as loving but insistent. Very insistent. They were pushing him hard. Get married. Settle down. Produce the heirs, the grandchildren. You know the drill.
Oh, yeah. The legacy conversation.
Exactly. And Gabriel felt that clock ticking. He was getting to that age, that point where you risk going from eligible bachelor to
oldest swinger in town.
Precisely. And for a guy obsessed with image and control, that kind of societal perception shift, totally unacceptable.
So his solution wasn't exactly romantic.
Not even close. He approached it like a business deal. A merger, essentially.
Okay.
He chose Christabel. And the sources are crystal clear on this. This wasn't about love or passion or even genuine connection.
It was strategic.
100%. It was a decision brokered in heaven, but strictly on paper. The perfect match, logically speaking.
Why her specifically?
She was the blue chip stock, basically. Her family tree. Just as long, just as wealthy as his. Total equals on that front.
And importantly.
Crucially, she understood the deal. The unspoken rules of his life. His work, his legacy, his company that was always priority number one.
Yeah.
She got that.
She fit the role.
Perfectly. She was totally equipped to be the society wife, play the part.
And the sources give us a pretty vivid image of her, right? Physically?
Oh, yeah. Very sharp description. It really underscores how she fit that role. Voluptuous, always impeccably groomed.
High maintenance.
Definitely give that impression.
Yeah.
Short, tight skirts, high heels, always maximizing the physical advantage, you could say.
Calculated.
Very calculated. Often leaning forward. The sources note, making sure Gabriel noticed her deep cleavage is all part of the presentation.
Okay, so she looks the part. The perfect trophy wife.
The prototype, yeah. But there's a cost to Gabriel, even then. A cost to his, peace of mind.
How so?
Well, despite the, physical appeal, he finds her voice difficult.
Her voice.
Yeah, high-pitched, insistent, this sort of staccato delivery. The sources say it gives him a headache after just 20 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's not a great sign for a marriage.
Not ideal. And they're discussing the wedding plans, super lavish, all her insistence, and he notices she's just dismissing his mother's chosen wedding planner. Outright.
Ouch. Family politics already.
Right. And that detail, it's so telling, isn't it? Here's a guy who manages billion-dollar deals, global stuff.
But he can't handle flower arrangements with his fiancée.
Exactly. He's so detached emotionally from the whole wedding thing. He's trying to use common sense and reason, his business tools, to justify this marriage.
But those tools don't work on people, especially not demanding ones focused on surface stuff.
Totally. They're failing him. He just wants her out of his office so he can get back to work.
Okay, so he's already feeling the strain of this perfect arrangement.
Definitely. And this is the exact moment the perfect, polished world starts to crack.
How?
Well, to deal with Christabel wanting this massive shopping spree, Knightsbridge, Harrods, the works, and meeting a translator, his secretary summons someone, a Spanish-speaking employee from the first floor, like a practical solution from a lowly office down in the, bowels of his fancy glass tower.
And let me guess.
Ding, ding, ding. It's the shock arrival of Alex McGuire.
Boom.
And Gabriel, the powerful exec, always focused, always in control, is instantly speechless, just floored.
He recognizes her immediately, even after years.
Instantly. Even though in his mind she was just a name, a file number, an insignificant detail from his past.
But clearly not that insignificant.
No. Her face, the memory, it just leaps out at him as though it had been lying just below the surface all this time.
And Alex, how does she look? Is she similar to Christabel?
Oh, completely the opposite. And the sources make a real point of this contrast. It's immediate, it's deliberate.
Okay, lay it out.
Alex is tall, has this sort of cultish, boyish grace, short, dark hair, the way she defiantly refused to grow it back then.
Practical.
Very practical. Flat shoes, minimal makeup. And right now she's wearing this sober gray suit, totally appropriate for her finance job.
So no artifice.
None. No push-up bra, no teetering heels designed for maximum impact. She's the ideological and physical opposite of Christabel.
And Gabriel's stunned because, why? Just the shock of seeing her.
I think it's more than that. Alex represents this, brief escape he took. This anonymous break from his hyper-controlled reality.
Right, the Lucio persona.
Exactly. A part of his life he probably thought he'd successfully boxed up, filed away 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And now, boom, that chaos is standing right there in his office, in front of his fiancée.
Oh, man. What's going through Alex's head?
Pure chaos. Internal meltdown. She's desperately trying to rationalize him away. Like, this can't be Lucio. No way.
Because Lucio was...
Lucio was broke.
Oh.
A nomadic hotel worker she met in Spain. Nothing remotely like this legendary mega-billionaire Gabriel Cruz.
Huh.
Her rational mind is just fighting what her eyes are telling her.
This is high drama, and Christabel is right there. Does she notice anything?
Not a clue. Totally oblivious to the massive historical bomb that just walked into the room.
So what does she do?
She immediately starts complaining about Alex in Spanish. Right there in front of her. Assuming Alex is just, a translator, a piece of furniture.
Oh, that's brutal. What does she say?
Dismisses her instantly.
Yeah.
Complains Alex has barely said a word. Judges her clothes. She doesn't even know how to dress. I need someone on my wavelength.
Wow. And Alex has to just stand there.
And translate it. Imagine having to translate your fiancé's critiques of you to the man who secretly fathered your child 5 years ago. The cruelty, even if it's ignorant cruelty, is just intense.
What does Alex do?
She grits her teeth. Has to. She silently notes that Christabel isn't exactly dressed for a winter shopping trip either. Thin clothes, tight skirt.
Right, pot calling the kettle black?
Totally. But she's powerless in that moment. She has to follow Christabel's imperious wake. It just shoves her right back into that subservient role.
And triggers all those memories of Lucio.
Exactly. The raven-haired, black-eyed, broodingly and impossibly sexy Spanish alpha male she fell for when she was 18 and naive.
It's like two worlds colliding right there in his office.
Perfectly put. One world is shiny, expensive, rigidly controlled by Gabriel's logic. The other is messy, heartfelt, hidden away first in a cheap hostel, now on the first floor of his building.
And that collision is about to blow up his entire future.
Completely derail it. Yeah.
Okay, so that tension is just sitting there, an emotional time bomb, like you said. It can't last, right? Gabriel has to address this.
No way. He's clearly obsessed by it.
Yeah.
By Friday evening, 5:45 p.m., he can't let it go. He summons Alex back to his office.
Just the two of them.
Yeah, he's already sent his secretary home.
Yeah.
And he's telling himself, justifying it, that it's unethical for her to keep believing this delusion that he just looks like her old lover.
Right, framing it as being for her benefit. Classic.
Totally. He's rationalizing his own need to confront her, treating it like a business problem that needs fixing, a data discrepancy.
Does Alex try to get out of it?
She does. She tries to beg off, mention she has plans, maybe a date lined up.
And Gabriel?
Cuts her off instantly. Pure alpha CEO mode. Raises an imperious hand.
Doesn't even let her finish?
Nope, just not interested. Whatever date you've got lined up will have to wait. Boom.
Wow, just lays down the law, reasserts the power dynamic immediately.
Absolutely. Total disregard for her personal life, her autonomy. She's still just an employee he can command. End of story.
Okay, so she's trapped in his office. What happens?
Well, during this forced meeting, her memories are just flooding back. And the sources really emphasized the huge difference between her past reality with Lucio and his current one.
Remind us of that past.
She was 18, naive, gap year in Spain, used to boys, talking about, football, cars, normal teenage stuff.
Right.
Lucio, though, he was a man, different league, and possibly sexy, took her girlish inexperience and turned it on its head.
More intense.
Much more. And the memories are all tied up with simplicity, cheap beer, walks on the beach. A life totally, utterly divorced from the gilded cage Gabriel Cruz lives in now.
And while she's thinking all this, Gabriel makes his move.
Yep. He drops the hammer. Gently, but decisively. He asks, would that guy you remember have gone by the name of Lucio?
Oh, man. Direct hit.
Precision strike. Alex is just clinging to that last shred of denial, stammering something like, his name isn't Lucio.
Trying to hold on to her version of reality?
Exactly. And he delivers the final blow, almost casually, which makes it even more unsettling. Lucio is my middle name.
That's it. Game over for denial.
Done. All the puzzle pieces just slam into place for Alex. But the picture they make, it's one of just profound betrayal.
Because she realizes...
She wasn't just dating some charming broke guy. She was dating a billionaire who was actively performing poverty.
Right. It wasn't real.
Her immediate reaction is just wounded accusation. You lied to me. He let her believe he was ordinary.
And the cheap dates.
She realizes it wasn't about saving money.
Right.
The cheap tapas bars, the beaches, it was about keeping him hidden, keeping him safe from being recognized by other millionaires. It was all calculated.
Okay, so how does Gabriel justify this? What's his defense?
This is where you really get a glimpse into his cynical worldview, the one shaped by having immense wealth from a young age.
All right.
He defends it. Says he just indulged in a piece of innocent fiction.
Innocent fiction. Seriously.
That's his term. He claims he was, prematurely jaded, burned out by women constantly chasing his money and power.
The poor little rich boy defense.
Kind of. He argues the lure of anonymity was just irresistible. It offered him a taste of freedom, escape from his gilded cage, as he calls it.
Okay, hold on. Isn't that just incredibly arrogant? He used her feelings, her naivety, as an antidote to his cynicism.
Right.
Without giving her any choice in the matter. He built a lie to protect himself from gold diggers, maybe real, maybe imagined, but in doing that, he completely deceived and potentially damaged someone genuinely innocent.
It's a huge ethical blind spot. Absolutely. And the deception, it turns out, runs even deeper than just using a middle name.
How so?
Alex has this horrible dawning realization. Lucio hadn't just worked at the Tivoli Hotel like he'd implied.
Don't tell me.
Gabriel owned the Tivoli, or at the very least was in the process of buying it while they were together.
Oh, come on. That's next level.
Right. This shifts it from just using an alias, which is bad enough, to this long-term calculated performance designed to fool her completely about who he was in his entire life.
Okay, now that explains the bitterness. How does she react to that piece of information?
This is where she really lets him have it.
Yeah.
The bitterness just pours out. She confronts him directly. Were you bored with fawning rich girls? Was that it?
Yeah.
So you decided that you'd take a bit of time out and pretend to be just like everybody else, and I just happened to be the poor schmuck who landed up in your path.
She lays it bare.
Does he deny it? Does he apologize?
He doesn't really deny the motive. Instead, he doubles down on the cynicism. Justifies it with this sweeping generalization about women.
Oh, boy. What does he say?
He says a healthy bank balance brings out all sorts of predictable behavior patterns in women. That's his rationale.
Huh.
His wealth has basically made him unable to trust anyone's motives. So he thinks everyone is after his money, therefore his deception was justified self-protection.
That seems to be his logic, yeah.
But Alex isn't buying it.
Not for a second. She fires back with this perfect, principled sarcasm, points out that actually Contrary to his jaded view, some women would run a mile from a man with a healthy bank balance.
Like her, presumably. Preferring simplicity.
Exactly. Preferring life without the complexity, the pressure, the suspicion that comes with that level of wealth.
How does Gabriel react to that idea? That someone might actively not want his money?
He laughs. A roar of incredulous laughter, the source says. He tells her he's never met that particular species of woman.
He literally can't comprehend it.
Nope. He's so deep in his cynicism, so defined by his wealth, he cannot imagine someone valuing integrity or a simpler life over his billions.
Wow. Okay, so this whole exchange just perfectly sets up the fundamental conflict between them, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Alex embodies genuine principle, maybe some naivety still, but principled simplicity. Gabriel embodies total cynicism, born from and trapped within his gilded cage. It's a head-on collision of values.
So after that confrontation, that reveal, working for him is just impossible for Alex.
Utterly impossible. Think about it. Working for the man who lied to you for months, who is now engaged to the woman who openly despises you and insults you in Spanish? It's untenable.
Yeah, no kidding. What does she do?
She makes a choice based purely on principle, even though it hurts her financially. She resigns immediately, without notice.
Just walks out.
Gets out of that smoked glass building with the minimum of fuss, as the source puts it.
Yeah.
She needs distance. She needs to protect herself.
But that's got to be tough financially. Didn't she imply she needed the job?
Oh, it hits her hard. She has to go back to her old job, the one she had before getting the position at his company. It's described as a miserable step backwards.
Lower pay, worse conditions.
Definitely lower pay. And the office sounds grim, cold, in a non-classy part of town. She has to wear fingerless gloves and a woolly hat inside, just to stay warm.
Wow. And the detail about her shoes.
Yeah, that's poignant. She's literally wearing the same old pair of trainers she had 5 years ago, when she knew him as Lucio. It just highlights the massive gap between their worlds. Her life has been a struggle. His hasn't.
Okay, so she's made her stand. She's gone. Does Gabriel just let her go? Forget about her?
You'd think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially being engaged. But no, he can't let her go. Her image, the whole situation, it's lodged in his brain like an irritant he can't shake.
He's still obsessed.
Completely. A week later, he does something incredibly out of character for a guy like him. He tracks her down, physically goes across London to her new, grim office.
A billionaire turning up at a place like that. That's intense. Inappropriate even.
Totally inappropriate. He justifies it to himself, of course. Tells himself he's duty-bound to make sure she's okay, hasn't done anything crazy.
But it's clearly more than duty.
Oh, it's pure obsession. He's used to controlling everything in his world. And Alex is this piece of chaos, this unresolved issue. He just cannot contain or file away.
So he finds her in this cold office. What does he do? Offer her job back.
Yep. Straight away, offers her the old job back and immediately throws in a raise. Up your salary as compensation for the headache, he says.
Compensation for his headache, presumably.
Exactly. And it's clear he's noticing her surroundings, the old shoes. He's implying she needs the money, playing on her vulnerability.
Does she take it?
Well, before they get to that, he's trying to suss out her life now, asking questions. And she keeps checking her watch, seems anxious.
Why? Is she late for something?
She confirms it. Says quite directly, there is someone in my life.
The date she mentioned wasn't just an excuse.
Apparently not. And Gabriel's reaction to this is really telling.
How does he react?
He'd likely been expecting, if there was someone, it would be some kind of loser, a half-baked layabout, as the source puts it, someone financially weak he could easily dismiss or handle.
Right. Someone he could buy off or intimidate?
Probably. But the confirmation that there is someone, he feels this sudden, inexplicable rush of anger. Pure, raw anger.
Anger? Why? He's engaged. He supposedly moved on years ago.
Exactly. It makes no logical sense. He's an engaged man planning a wedding. Yet he's reacting with this intense, irrational possessiveness over a woman from his past, a woman he deceived and seemingly discarded.
That's a massive red flag about his own feelings, isn't it? Way deeper than he's admitting, even to himself.
Huge flag. It suggests his feelings for Alex weren't just a fling or innocent fiction at all. They were real, and they're still simmering under the surface.
Okay, so he's angry, she's anxious. What happens next? How does the big secret come out?
Well, she needs to leave to pick someone up. She offers him a lift, maybe just to get him out of her office. He accepts.
He gets in her car?
Yeah, and she drives him to her place, a tiny, cluttered, terraced house, completely different from his world of pristine mansions.
What's his reaction to her home?
He's taking it all in. The source describes him noticing the details. The coat rack groaning under the weight of coats, the messy heap of shoes by the door, just the visual evidence of a normal, slightly chaotic, financially constrained life.
The opposite of his sterile perfection.
Totally. And then the silence, the tension, it's broken. Broken by the most important introduction of Gabriel Cruz's entire life.
The child.
Alex introduces Luke, 4.5 years old.
Oh, wow.
And Gabriel, still reeling from the shock of her having someone in her life, hears the boy call Alex Mum.
Oh my God. Just like that.
Just like that. His brain just locks onto that one word, Mum.
Yeah.
And in that instant, his carefully constructed, logical world just evaporates, ceases to exist.
Does he doubt it? Does he question if the child is his?
You'd think a guy like him, so cynical, so suspicious, would demand proof, right? A DNA test, documentation.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, the physical proof is immediate. It's overwhelming. It bypasses all his usual defenses.
Why? What does he see?
The proof was glaringly obvious. Luke looks exactly like a photograph Gabriel has of himself at that age, 4.5.
Yeah.
The resemblance is uncanny, undeniable. There was no doubting paternity.
Wow. Just instant recognition.
Instant. His world truly just stops in that moment. He's frozen. His mind is racing, calculating the immense, life-altering consequences. He's a father, and he's 5 years late to the party.
That's a heavy realization. How does he process that emotionally?
Well, the initial shock quickly turns into something else. A slow-burning, powerful anger starts to build as he takes in Luke's surroundings, the basic living conditions.
Anger. Why anger? Shouldn't it be guilt or sadness or...
It's probably a mix, but the anger seems dominant initially. It's not just about the lost time. It's about his legacy, his son, his bloodline, living in what he perceives as poverty, lacking the stability, the privilege, everything that comes with the Cruz name. It offends his sense of order, his sense of ownership.
Right. It's a blow to his ego and his sense of control as much as anything else.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so Gabriel's reeling. What about Alex? How does she explain hiding his son for almost 5 years?
She lays out the circumstances. She found out she was pregnant fairly late, almost 4 months along, after she was already back in England.
And she tried to find Lucio.
Desperately. She tried to trace him through the hotel, but hit a complete brick wall. Because, of course, Lucio never officially existed there, which just confirmed her worst fears about his deception back then.
So why hide the baby once she knew Gabriel Cruz existed, once she knew who he really was?
Her initial motivation, according to the source, is actually quite tragic in a way, and maybe a bit naive, but understandable given what she knew then.
Which was?
She found out about the real Gabriel Cruz, the billionaire, and she also found out he was engaged, about to be married to a woman he supposedly loved, ready to start his perfect planned family.
So she thought telling him would just ruin his life.
Exactly. She genuinely believed she was doing him a massive favor by keeping Luke a secret, protecting his happiness, his relationship, his planned future. She didn't want to be the homewrecker, the gold digger his cynical worldview expected.
That puts a different spin on it. It wasn't malicious hiding, it was misguided protection.
From her perspective, absolutely. She was trying to do the right thing based on the limited and, frankly, manipulated information she had.
Does Gabriel challenge her on this? Does he buy it?
He pushes her, asks point blank if she would ever have told him if he hadn't hunted her down.
And her answer?
Her silence speaks volumes. He reads it perfectly, correctly figures out she probably would have carried that secret forever, driven by her own pride, her principles, her refusal to interfere or appear like she wanted something from it.
Wow. Okay, so the secret's out. The paternity is undeniable. What happens now? How do they even begin to navigate this?
The negotiation starts immediately. Or rather, Alex tries to start a negotiation based on, normal circumstances.
Risks she suggests.
She tentatively puts forward the idea of visiting rights.
Like standard co-parenting stuff.
Exactly. She suggests he could see Luke for an afternoon here and there, what everyone else does when their relationship falls apart and there's a child involved. She's trying to normalize it, keep it practical, maybe keep some control.
How does Mr. Control Everything react to being treated like everyone else?
Predictably, he explodes. That proposal, the idea of him being just a weekend dad, an occasional visitor, is the final trigger.
What does he say?
Since when am I everyone else?
Yeah.
He completely rejects the idea of half measures, of being peripheral.
It's all or nothing for him.
Absolutely. For Gabriel, who thinks in terms of ownership, legacy, control, visiting rights is insulting. It's unacceptable. He will not tolerate his son being hidden away, as he sees it, or having an unstable background.
So he's not thinking about building a relationship. He's thinking about asserting his claim.
It seems that way initially, yes. This immediate, aggressive demand for total involvement isn't really about connection yet. It's about reclaiming control over this unexpected, massive disruption to his ordered life. He doesn't want fatherhood in the nurturing sense. He wants ownership of his heir.
And he's about to use his power to get it.
Oh, yeah. He immediately jumps to the most decisive, aggressive action possible to reassert that control. Forget negotiation.
Okay, so Gabriel's just found out he's a father. His son's living in basic conditions, and visiting rights are off the table. What's his next move? It's not going to be subtle, is it?
Not even slightly. His response isn't emotional processing or a heart-to-heart. It's pure C-suite strategy, a high-level maneuver.
Right. Damage control.
Exactly. He figures his previously planned life, the one with Tristabel, would still have ceased to exist now anyway.
Yeah.
So he decides he'll meet his responsibilities head-on.
Using his usual toolkit.
The only tools he trusts. Logic, decisiveness, and transaction.
So what's the plan?
He moves incredibly fast. 2 key steps. First, immediate action. He's breaking off the engagement to Christabel. Then, finished. A massive public step.
Wow, just like that. Pulls the plug.
Instantly. Second, and this is the big one, he will marry Alex.
Marry her! Why? He barely knows the adult version of her. They just had that huge argument about his deception.
It's not about love. It's not even about them. His justification is purely 100% centered on the child, on his legacy.
How so?
Marriage is necessary in his mind to give his son the Cruz surname, legitimacy, status, protection. It's about securing the lineage.
It's a business transaction to secure an asset, his son.
That's exactly how it reads.
Okay.
And when Alex just stares at him, completely dumbfounded by this insane proposal, he actually muses aloud, almost to himself, not too many options staring me in the face.
Yeah.
Like this is the only logical solution to a complex problem.
Unbelievable. Does he even consider her feelings?
Doesn't seem like it. He suggests they can arrange something quiet, maybe over the weekend. Then they can disappear abroad until the media storm dies down.
Just handle the logistics.
Precisely. And then he drops the line that just ignites everything. The truly chilling, incredibly arrogant assessment of the situation from her perspective as he sees it.
What does he say?
He tells her, "You must find it almost beyond belief that you've managed to hit jackpot."
My God. He thinks she planned this. Or that she's thrilled because she's landed a billionaire.
That's the implication. It proves he still sees her, fundamentally, through that same cynical lens he views all women with. He thinks she's won the lottery, completely dismissing her independence, her principles, her feelings.
Okay, that is definitely the fire starter. How does Alex react to that?
That comment, it ignites her deepest principles. All that fire she showed earlier comes roaring back. She vehemently refuses. "I have no intention of marrying you." Full stop.
Good for her.
Absolutely. She lays it out clearly. We are not in the Dark Ages. Luke deserves better than 2 parents trapped in a loveless, purely transactional marriage. She sees right through it.
She calls it what it is, a cynical legal maneuver, not a real family foundation.
Exactly. And this is where their values just clash head-on again. It's the definitive conflict. She confronts his arrogance directly.
How?
She asks him, "Do you really imagine that I'm so pathetic and desperate that I would accept marriage to you in these circumstances?" Just calls out his assumption about her motives.
Does he back down?
No, he tries a different tactic. Tries to manipulate her using their past. Tries to trigger her vanity, maybe.
What does he say?
He asks, "Wasn't marriage the thing you wanted most when we were together?" Back when she was 18.
Implying she wanted the ring then, so why not now when it comes with billions attached? That's low.
Super low. But Alex isn't 18 anymore. She's a hardened single mother who survived on her own. She insists, "I'm a different person now."
The 5 years of struggle changed her, made her immune to his wealth when it's offered with contempt.
Exactly. She
Yeah.
holds firm to her integrity. And for Gabriel, this refusal, this principled stand against his logic and his money is just incomprehensible. It challenges his entire worldview.
So his logic failed. His manipulation failed. What does he do now? He's not going to give up, is he?
Not a chance. When logic and cynical assumptions fail, he deploys his ultimate weapon, power, the threat, rooted in the inescapable reality of his wealth and family influence.
Oh, boy. This is going to be ugly.
It is. He lays down the ultimatum. If they don't marry, fine, he'll proceed with his life. But
What?
his family, his parents, who are traditional and powerful, or even potentially Christabel, if he'd gone through with that marriage, would have enormous input into all decisions taken regarding Luke.
He's threatening to use his family against her, to control Luke's upbringing.
Precisely, including things like mandatory holidays in Spain, effectively removing Luke from her sphere of influence for periods. He's weaponizing his family structure and wealth.
That is ruthless, strategic cruelty, like you said before.
Absolutely. He's forcing her into an impossible choice.
Yeah.
Give up her hard-won independence and marry him under duress, or risk losing significant control over her son's life and upbringing to his powerful traditional family.
He's framing it as him doing the right thing, isn't
Oh, yeah. He demands respect for being the guy who's willing to do the right thing, meaning the legal thing, the marriage that secures legitimacy in his world.
And Alex's response?
She counters with equal fire, demanding respect for her principles. Respect for a woman who's willing to turn down a wedding ring and an easy lifestyle because she has principles. She refuses to be bought or intimidated.
It's an incredible standoff. Does he respect that refusal even a little?
The source material actually notes something interesting here. It says that this woman, unbowed by his wealth, his threats, his logic, she occupies this unique space in his life. He does seem to respect her refusal on some level, even if he fundamentally cannot understand it.
A crack in the cynical armor.
Maybe the very first one. But Gabriel is still Gabriel, a man of action. He uses efficiency as a shield against messy emotions.
So what action does he take immediately?
He breaks the engagement with Christabel. Immediately. Done. It hits the news, becomes public knowledge. Though, importantly, he keeps Luke's existence completely secret for now. That's still his private leverage.
Smart move, strategically. How does his family react to the broken engagement? Does the disaster he maybe anticipated happen?
Surprisingly, no. We get this interesting little domestic insight, his father calls him, and instead of being angry, they're relieved.
Relieved? Why? Wasn't Christabel the perfect match?
Apparently not in everyone's eyes. His father confides that his mother always had her reservations about Christabel, just felt she wasn't right for Gabriel deep down.
So the paper perfection wasn't enough for Mom. Interesting.
Very interesting. Suggests maybe Christabel lacked genuine warmth or substance, something the family intuitively picked up on, even if Gabriel didn't.
Okay, so the engagement is off. Alex has refused the marriage ultimatum. Where does that leave them? Stalemate?
Not in Gabriel's mind. Since she rejected the legal framework of marriage, he just proceeds, as if she's implicitly agreed to his terms for co-parenting, but on his turf and under his rules.
He just steamrolls ahead.
Completely. He starts issuing immediate decisive orders, like a CEO directing a new project.
What kind of orders?
He demands she sell her house. Sell it, not rent it out.
Why sell?
Because, according to him, rental carries the unacceptable whiff of lack of commitment. He wants permanence, roots, control.
Wow. Okay, what else?
She has to quit her job, her independence, gone. And most importantly, she needs to pack immediately. They're going to Spain now to introduce Luke to Gabriel's parents.
He's isolating her, moving her onto his home ground, cutting her off from her support system.
Exactly, all under the guise of providing stability for Luke, the very thing she wants most and the thing he knows she can't really argue against without looking uncooperative.
So by rejecting the marriage, but obviously accepting his involvement with Luke, she's kind of trapped herself.
She's inadvertently stripped herself of the grounds to object to these other massive life-altering demands. She's caught in the powerful momentum of his will and his wealth. She has principles, but he has power.
Okay, so Alex is basically railroaded into this trip to Spain. Sell your house, quit your job, pack your bags. How does that journey even feel for her?
Overwhelming. The journey itself is a stark reminder of the power shift. They travel in his private jet, of course.
Right. From fingerless gloves in a cold office to a private jet. Whiplash.
Total whiplash. Alex feels completely stressed out, like she's been put through a washing machine on spin cycle, just reeling from the speed and force of it all.
But she goes along with it.
She feels she has to. She realizes she has no grounds on which she could object anymore. She rejected the marriage, the legal framework he offered for stability. So now how can she object to him providing that stability in his way by introducing his son to his family?
She's painted herself into a corner, ethically speaking.
Exactly. Her own principles are being used against her. No way.
Okay, so they're on the jet. How's Gabriel acting? Is he Mr. Confident Billionaire dealing with his newfound fatherhood?
Interestingly, no, not entirely. The confident mogul actually struggles, initially at least, with the actual fathering part.
Really? How so?
Luke is wary. He hides behind Alex, looks at Gabriel with barely concealed suspicion. Understandable, this strange man just blew into their lives.
Totally.
Yeah.
So Gabriel can't just command affection.
No. He has to use his famous willpower just to, like, interact normally, connect, bond. The whole experience is jarring for him, totally outside his usual sphere of control and command.
Does he make any effort? Or just expect the kid to fall in line?
He does make an effort, and it's surprisingly thoughtful. Given everything, it shows he was listening to her previous boundaries, maybe.
What does he do?
He buys Luke a gift, a set of toy planes. But the source notes he agonized over it at Harrods, making sure the planes weren't too expensive.
Why not too expensive? He's a billionaire.
Because he remembered Alex's earlier resistance to him just throwing money at things, spoiling Luke. He's trying, in his own way, to respect that boundary she tried to set.
That's actually kind of sweet. In a controlling billionaire sort of way. Does it work?
It does. It's the icebreaker. Luke accepts the gift, starts to warm up a bit,
Yeah.
gradually begins looking Gabriel for, guidance, support. A genuine connection starts, slowly.
Okay, a small step. What's the next hurdle? Meeting the grandparents, right? This could be tense.
Huge hurdle. Alex is definitely bracing for the worst. They arrive at the family estate, and it's exactly what you'd picture.
Opulent.
Beyond opulent. Not just a villa, a sprawling mansion on the edge of the city. Traditional, dripping with centuries of wealth and history. Alex expects them to be cold, ambitious, older versions of Gabriel. Judging her.
And are they?
Complete surprise. Antonio and Maria Cruz are lovely. Warm, charming, totally disarming.
Really? Not hostile at all?
Not in the slightest.
Right.
They wave away Alex's nervous apologies, just express absolute delight at finally meeting Luke. Pure joy.
How do they show it, besides being nice?
Well, billionaire style, they immediately buy Luke this expensive, shiny, three-wheeled bicycle. It's their way of showing immediate welcome family enthusiasm, folding him into the Cruz world instantly.
Okay, so the grandparents are unexpectedly welcoming. That must ease things for Alex a bit.
It does, but it also complicates things.
Yeah.
Especially Gabriel's mother, Maria. She becomes key.
How so?
Maria pulls Alex aside for a little chat, and she confirms what Gabriel's dad said. She says Cristobal was not the right one for Gabriel. Total lack of love there.
Okay, vindicating Alex in a way.
And then Marita drops this bombshell in this moment of what seems like pure, unexpected sincerity. She tells Alex, the very minute I saw you, my dear, I knew. A mother knows these things.
Knew what?
Knew that Alex was the one for Gabriel, the one destined to make her son happy.
Oh, wow. Talk about awkward. Maria thinks they're a couple, that Alex is the future daughter-in-law.
Exactly. Alex is just speechless. How does she respond to that? How would this charming, traditional woman react if she knew the truth? That her son's happiness is currently being negotiated alongside custody battles and based on a massive deception.
Yeah, that's a minefield. Does this misunderstanding lead to more complications?
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
It leads directly to the climax of the deception in Spain, the sleeping arrangements. Maria, operating under the perfectly reasonable assumption that Gabriel and Alex are a couple, maybe newly reconciled, maybe about to be engaged, she puts all their suitcases, Alex's, Luke's, and Gabriel's together.
Where?
In the master suite.
Yeah.
The magnificent four-poster bedroom. All together, one room.
Oh, no. What does Gabriel do? Does he correct her?
Does he? Heck. He
Yeah.
immediately weaponizes the situation, uses his parents' ultra-traditional nature as leverage against Alex. Again. He explains to Alex, very reasonably of course, that they can't possibly disillusion his dear parents now. Can't talk about illegitimacy or shared custody or the fact they aren't actually together. It would break their hearts. Disgrace the family.
So they have to pretend.
They have no choice, he says, but to share the room. Keep up appearances for Mama and Papa.
He is relentlessly manipulative. What does Alex do? She can't be comfortable with this.
Not at all. She's still trying desperately to maintain some kind of emotional and now physical distance. So what does she do?
Build a pillow fort.
Literally. She painstakingly constructs this foot-high barrier of cushions right down the middle of the enormous super king-size bed. A clear boundary.
And how long does that last?
About 5 seconds. Gabriel, watching her efforts from the darkness, waits till she's settled, then just casually reaches over and tosses every single cushion onto the floor.
Symbolic.
Totally symbolic. Just dismissing her attempt at setting boundaries, wiping it out.
And then does he push it further?
Yeah. He escalates immediately, slides out of bed,
Oh.
completely naked,
Whoa, okay.
stands there, forcing her to confront his physical presence, his body, his history, his unapologetic arousal. It's a power play, pure and simple.
What's his goal? Just intimidation, seduction.
Probably both. When she makes a noise like a squeak of shock, he just says, forget it, Like, forget the boundaries, forget the pretense of distance. He's using his physical dominance, their undeniable history and attraction, to break down her last shreds of psychological resistance. He's stating without words, this is happening, you can't fight it.
And does she fight it?
The shift to lovers begins that night. The physical barrier is gone. The emotional one crumbles under the intensity.
So they sleep together. Is it just giving in or something more?
For Gabriel, it's absolutely strategic. He views this not as rekindling romance, but as a calculated strategic tool. His goal is to make himself indispensable, physically, emotionally.
How does he frame it?
He rationalizes their intense lovemaking as them getting closure on the past. But his actions are totally manipulative. He's aiming to bind her to him through sheer physical intensity, through shared memory, making it harder for her to leave or resist his ultimate goal, marriage.
What about Alex? How is she processing this?
The source says the passion is incredibly high. She tries to rationalize it too, tells herself she's just getting her fill of him while she could, sticking to the illusion that it's temporary, non-committal, just sex.
But it's clearly more than that, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. And Gabriel notices a subtle shift in their dynamic because of it. She's more relaxed with him now, yes, but she's also no longer a slave to his every demand.
Interesting. So the intimacy, paradoxically, gives her a bit more power or equality.
It seems so. Maybe meeting him on that physical level reminds her of her own power, her own effect on him. The power dynamic shifts slightly, becomes a bit more equal, even in the bedroom.
Okay, so they're lovers again, under duress, but maybe finding something real. What's Gabriel's final move in Spain?
The final push.
Yeah.
The strategic seduction culminates in an island day trip.
His private island, I presume.
Naturally. A secluded, beautiful place he owns where he used to go as a boy. Very symbolic, sharing his past sanctuary with her.
And what happens there? More closure?
Uninhibited lovemaking on the beach. And there's this moment where Alex tells him not to move, takes control. A detail he apparently savors, enjoys being commanded by her in a way he hasn't been since. Well, maybe ever, but certainly not since the Lucio days.
The power dynamic really is shifting.
It seems to be. But then, after this idyllic lunch, Gabriel drops another bomb.
What now?
He reveals he has to leave Spain a day early. A sudden business crisis has come up.
Oh, so the romantic interlude has an expiration date.
Exactly. It confirms Alex's fears. This whole trip, this intense reconnection, it was just temporary. Her equivalent of the Last Supper, as the source puts it. A beautiful escape before reality bites again.
Does he just leave it at that?
No. He confronts her directly about the change in their relationship,
No.
uses the intimacy as his final argument.
What does he say?
He tells her, flat out, "You are now no longer just the mother of my child, we are lovers." He's making it explicit, tying the physical to the parental.
And using that to push for marriage again.
Exactly. He argues that since they are lovers now, marriage is the logical next step. It offers the solution. Stability for Luke and goodbye to all stress and strain for you. He's trying to formalize the emotional and physical bond he basically forced through strategic seduction. Offering marriage not as an ultimatum this time, but as the happy ending to their rekindled passion.
Okay, so Alex leaves Spain, but ahead of schedule. Why?
Yeah, she decides to leave a day early too, basically wanting to surprise Gabriel back in London. She needs space to think, to finally make her decision about his marriage proposal now that things are, well, incredibly complicated.
Complicated is an understatement. What's her internal struggle?
She isn't in total turmoil. On one hand, she realizes she does love him. The intensity, the connection, it's real despite the manipulation. But the whole foundation still feels shaky. It still feels like a business arrangement with the bonus of good sex, as the source puts it.
She doesn't trust it'll last.
Exactly. Her biggest fear is that he's still fundamentally that cynical billionaire. That once the initial passion cools down, he'll revert to type, maybe have affairs, and she'll be trapped in this loveless, gilded cage, completely heartbroken. She doesn't trust him. Fundamentally.
Understandable, given their history. What's Gabriel doing? Is he just back to business as usual?
Actually, no. This is another sign of his shift. He tries to reach Alex after she leaves Spain, can't get hold of her, and he gets genuinely worried, panicked even.
Worried, the cool, controlled Gabriel.
Yeah, so worried that he cancels the rest of his New York trip, delegates crucial strategic meetings, something apparently unheard of for him, and flies back early just to find her.
Wow, okay, that's telling. He's prioritizing her, Alex, over his empire. Something he definitely wouldn't have done for Christabel.
Absolutely not. It shows his emotional investment is real now, whether he fully understands it or not. He needs her.
So he rushes back. Does he find her? Is it a happy reunion?
He finds her, but it's not happy. Alex, still caught in that spiral of fear and mistrust, fueled by his past deception, confronts him with what she sees as the final proof of his untrustworthiness.
What is it? What proof?
She has a newspaper clipping, a paparazzi photo. It shows Gabriel and Christabel
Yeah.
together in New York, looking intimate, like lovers.
Oh, no. After everything, is it true? Was he with Christabel?
Well, the source strongly implies Christabel set the whole thing up. Final act of revenge. Got the paparazzi there, made it look like something it wasn't. But Alex doesn't know that for sure.
Right. All she sees is the picture. Her worst fears confirmed.
Exactly. So she confronts him, accuses him of being fundamentally unaccountable, a liar, just like before.
What does she say?
She basically predicts his future behavior if they marry, that he'd use the marriage purely for legitimacy to get his son and then just carry on doing exactly what you want.
Meaning other women.
That's the clear implication. Bringing a harem of mistresses into the marital home once the novelty wears off. She throws his perceived nature right back in his face.
Okay, this is the breaking point. How does Gabriel react? Does he get defensive? Deny it?
This confrontation, this accusation, it's actually essential. It forces him finally to drop the mask, to shed that persona of cool logic and cynical control he hides behind.
He has to be honest.
He has to be. He's forced to explain the dinner with Christabel in New York. And in explaining it, he realizes something himself.
What does he realize?
He realizes just how inconsequential Christabel actually was to him, what a vain, shallow person she'd become, or maybe always was. He admits to Alex he had nearly sleepwalked himself into the worst situation of his life by almost marrying her.
So seeing Christabel again actually clarified his feelings for Alex.
It seems so. The contrast made him see what he didn't want, and maybe what he did want, or rather, needed.
And does he finally say it?
In this moment of raw vulnerability, forced by her accusation, Gabriel finally achieves his breakthrough. He confesses what he's probably been running from the entire time.
What does he say?
He admits, talking about feelings doesn't come easy for me, which is the understatement of the century for this guy. And then he says it, I love you, Alex, and if you still want to walk away, I won't try to stop you.
Wow. He actually said, I love you. And he gives her the power. He won't stop her if she leaves.
Exactly. This isn't the transactional marriage offer anymore. This isn't the ultimatum. This is a full declaration of emotional dependence. He's finally relinquishing that control he clings to. He's vulnerable.
And he finally understands love isn't logical.
Yeah, he has this internal realization, the source notes, that love could ram into you when you weren't looking with the force of a freight train. And that Alex, this woman who challenges him constantly, she completes me. He's admitting she's essential to him, not just convenient or legally necessary.
Okay, that's huge. How does Alex react to this? This is what she needed to hear.
This is the absolute turning point for her. The honesty, the vulnerability, the declaration of love without demands. It's what she needed to finally trust him, or at least trust this moment.
So she accepts. They're getting married.
She accepts. And she admits her own feelings, admits she loved him even when she was absolutely furious with him, which was most of the time recently. She recognizes that her pushing back against his earlier proposals, her resistance, it wasn't just about pride. It was a desperate attempt, maybe subconscious, to force his feelings, to turn his initial lust or possessiveness into something strong enough to see us through the inevitable challenges. She needed the love to be real.
And now she believes it is, so wedding bells.
Wedding bells. But Alex, being Alex, the woman of principle, she doesn't just say yes unconditionally. She has terms.
Of course she does. Conditions for marrying the billionaire who loves her, what are they?
She lays down some rules, clearly aimed at grounding their life, protecting Luke from the potential negative impacts of extreme wealth, and maybe protecting herself too.
Okay, what's number one?
Number one, they're not living in London. They need to move out to the country. She wants greenery, normality, grounded values for Luke, not the city bubble.
Sensible. What else?
Number two, shared involvement in buying the house. It's not just about him writing a check. She wants his time, his input, signaling that his presence, his partnership, is as valuable as his money. Time is priceless.
Smart. Making him invest personally, not just financially. And number three, the big one.
Number three, fidelity. No other women, explicitly stated.
Okay. How does Gabriel react to that one? Does he just agree easily?
His reaction is interesting and very revealing about his possessive nature. He gets really aggressive about it, growls that he's not a jealous man, but immediately contradicts himself by saying if any other man even looked at her, he'd basically beat him to a pulp. So yeah, maybe a little bit jealous.
Or just intensely possessive? Does he actually agree to be faithful based on love or respect?
He avoids framing it that way.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about love-based fidelity. It's more like ownership-based fidelity. She's his now, so no one else can touch her. It's still rooted in that alpha control instinct.
Okay, so Alex lays down her terms. Does Gabriel have any conditions of his own?
Oh, you bet he does. He's still Gabriel Cruz, alpha male billionaire. He has counter conditions. And they really highlight the ongoing power dynamic, even within the love confession.
All right, what does he demand?
His first, immediate, non-negotiable condition. It's about controlling her appearance.
Seriously? After all this?
Seriously. Alex must dress the part of his wife. Which means, according to him, no revealing clothes, no tight dresses, no handkerchiefs for skirts.
He's dictating her wardrobe. Why?
He states it plainly. I'm possessive when it comes to you. He needs to control who sees her body now that she belongs to him. It's pure possessiveness masked as propriety.
Wow. Okay, what's his second condition? Is it less controlling?
Oh, arguably more so. The source calls it a breathtakingly chauvinistic statement.
Oh boy, what is it?
His second condition is that it is her duty as his wife to ensure he is sexually satisfied at all times.
Her duty? Are you kidding me? How does Alex even respond to that?
You have to wonder, right? But she accepts it. The source suggests her reasoning is pragmatic, maybe even strategic in its own way.
How so?
By agreeing to keep him satisfied sexually, maybe she feels it gives her leverage. Leverage to maintain control over the other aspects of their life, that she cares more about the domestic sphere, Luke's upbringing, their values, his fidelity.
But she's choosing her battles, trading that fight for wins elsewhere.
Possibly. Prioritizing Luke's stability and Gabriel's declared love over fighting his deeply ingrained male ego on this particular, albeit shocking point. It's complex.
Incredibly complex. So they've agreed. Conditions and counterconditions set. What happens immediately? Does Gabriel change?
Well, the immediate consequence of Alex laying down her very domestic, family-focused conditions is the rapid domestication of Gabriel Cruz, or the beginning of it.
How do we see that?
Despite his insane work schedule, Alex making her own cheerful, independent plans while they wait for the wedding, visiting her family, starting to pack, not immediately looking for a job. It makes him uneasy. It's disconcerting to him.
Why? Because she's not focused solely on him.
Maybe. Or maybe he just wants things locked down. He decides he can't wait. He cut short his planned return trip to New York again. He needs to expedite the marriage. Now,
He wants her locked in legally as soon as possible.
seems like it. But there's one more detail, a really telling one, about his shift.
Yeah.
Remember, Alex wants normal, grounded values for Luke. Part of that is simple, home-cooked food, not fancy restaurant stuff all the time.
Right. Makes sense. Does Gabriel agree?
He agrees. But Gabriel, the self-proclaimed non-cook, the man who thinks food is fundamentally better when cooked by professionals elsewhere. His solution isn't to learn how to boil an egg.
What is it?
His solution is to hire a chef, a private chef for their home, specifically to cook the simple home-cooked meals Alex wants for Luke.
Okay, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
And perfect, Gabriel.
Right. He's adapting. He's bending his entire worldview, using his immense wealth not for extravagance, but to accommodate these new domestic grounded concerns brought into his life by Alex and Luke. Concerns he never would have even considered before.
So the marriage, which started as this cold, hard legal transaction proposal,
Is now actually proceeding based on this foundation of genuine, albeit incredibly complicated and possessive, powerful love. And the hiring of a personal chef for fish fingers? It's quite the transformation. #tag outro.
So when you step back and look at the whole story, the entire arc, it really is a masterclass in transformation, isn't it?
Absolutely. You've got Gabriel, this mega-rich cynic who thought he could engineer his life, demanding this logical, suitable, arranged marriage.
Right, avoiding messiness.
Exactly. And he gets completely blindsided, first by the ghost of his own past deception, that innocent fiction.
And then boom, reality hits.
Bang. Forced into emotional accountability by the undeniable existence of his son, and maybe even more so by the unwavering, grounded principles of Alex, the woman he totally underestimated.
The stability he thought he could buy or manipulate.
He ultimately found it, but through things he tried to avoid. Honest obligation, messy emotions, and eventually a confessed love he couldn't control.
Does the source give us a glimpse of their life later on? Did it work?
It does. The final chapter jumps ahead 3 years, provides the ultimate status update.
Are they still together? Miserable?
Happily married, apparently. They're actually back on that secluded private island, celebrating their anniversary.
Yeah.
They left Luke, with the grandparents.
Wow. So the cynical transaction actually turned into a real lasting marriage.
It seems so. And Gabriel himself, the guy who prided himself on absolute control, he openly admits Alex has domesticated him.
Domesticated the billionaire. How?
He even jokes about it. Says her influence is so powerful, it's turned his married brothers into pussycats too. There's this delicious irony, right? The ultimate alpha male running a global empire.
Is now happily admitting he's been tamed by love and family life.
Exactly. Doesn't mean his competitive edge is gone, though.
Oh. How does that show up?
It's just shifted arenas. The source mentions he's still fiercely battling his brothers-in-law, who apparently didn't like him much at first, but now it's over, like Irish trivia.
Irish trivia. Seriously.
Yeah. And he needs consolidated internet research to try and outsmart them. The grand battlefield of global finance has shrunk down to the subtle, ongoing competition of family dynamics. It's quite charming, actually.
That's brilliant. So, for you, the listener, what's the big takeaway here? What does this deep dive teach us?
I think it's profoundly clear. Even lives that seem meticulously planned, totally cushioned by wealth, controlled by ruthless logic, they can be completely rerouted, fundamentally changed.
By things you don't expect.
By unexpected emotional connections,
Oh, sure.
by consequences you can't deny, like a 4.5-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
Gabriel sought freedom and deception, remember that, innocent fiction.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he found himself bound, not trapped, but bound by love, by family obligation. And it led him to a life he never, ever anticipated, but one that, the source suggests, finally made him genuinely happy, content.
A life he couldn't have planned, even with all his resources.
Exactly. The best things often are on the spreadsheet.
Okay, so before we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with that provocative thought, something to chew on.
Right. Building on that final negotiation, those conditions and counterconditions. Think about Gabriel's reaction to Alex's demand for fidelity.
His very aggressive, possessive reaction.
Exactly. How much of that overwhelming possessiveness that beat him to a pulp intensity? How much do you think stemmed from a place of genuine protective love for Alex? Versus how much was simply a function of his ingrained personality, his fundamental need for total control, especially in a relationship that began so far outside his comfort zone, entirely outside his carefully constructed boundaries of power and expectation. Was it love, or was it control dressed up as love, or both?
That is a fascinating question. Love versus control in the billionaire's heart. A deeply complex end to a deeply complex story.
Indeed. Lots to think about there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We will see you next time.